Keep your eyes open for a moment. Just notice the space that you're in. Notice how you feel in your physical body right now. Then let's take a nice big deep breath in. And sigh out, let it go. And just take a moment to close down your eyes when you're ready. We all have intuition. It is innately in all of us, but sometimes we just forget how to access it. Listening inwards to yourself is something that over time you can come back to. Most of us already know what it feels like, this sense of knowing, a subtle pull, that feeling that we get in the body that says yes or no before the mind has time to get involved. But over time that voice gets a little bit quieter. Other things in our lives become louder, and sometimes we forget or ignore that inner feeling. So take a moment now just to tune into yourself. Maybe take a little scan through the body, checking in what's going on in your body right now. And let's take another deep breath in and a slow, soft breath out. When we move through life, we learn to override ourselves in small little ways. We sometimes talk ourselves out of things, or we like to explain away our feelings. This sometimes shows up as telling ourselves that we're being dramatic or unrealistic, or maybe even too sensitive. And without meaning to, we slowly stop checking in with ourselves and we slowly tune out of that intuition. But it is possible to learn how to listen to that voice again. It's not always super loud, and it doesn't always come with reasons. But when we feel something in our bodies, we can learn to reconnect to that feeling again and listen to it. Intuition can be noticed in the body, but it doesn't always have to be analyzed. And sometimes, in fact, when we overanalyze our intuition, we start to second guess ourselves. And really, intuition is that base feeling, that first initial feeling you get when something happens. Over these last 31 days, you haven't been trying to become someone else. You haven't been adding anything new. If anything, you've actually been doing the opposite. You've been slowing down and making space for yourself and letting things in your body and your mind soften. And in that slowing down, something familiar starts to reappear. Your truest self was never missing. It was never lost. It was always there underneath everything, and all that was needed was just a return to yourself, a gentle coming home. But listening inwards doesn't mean that you always know what to do. It just means that you'll recognize when something feels off, and sometimes that's enough to begin with. If you look back on your life, there were probably moments where you knew something before you could explain why. Times where you followed that feeling, and times where you also didn't follow the feeling. But both taught you something. Neither makes you wrong. We're all human. We have to go through this learning process of life. So maybe today from this practice, you can take away this idea that you're allowed to pause and ask yourself how something feels before deciding what to do about it. And that's really what you've been practicing here every single day, every single time you show up to do something good for yourself, to sit with yourself. Meditation isn't a task, it is just purely presence and a willingness to sit with yourself as you are. Knowing that you're enough right now in this moment, there is nothing you need to change about yourself. There's something deeply reassuring about that, knowing that you don't need to search outside of yourself for permission or answers all the time. You have that knowledge within you. You can always come back to that again and again. So take a moment here just to be in this moment, to be present, to be proud of yourself for showing up every single day, and be proud of yourself for being here without any judgment, and just giving yourself that compassion, that love that you deserve. And so in these last few moments, in stillness, in silence, can you give yourself permission to be as you are? Nothing else you need to do, nowhere else you need to be. And if your mind wanders off, just gently bringing it back to the breath every single time. If your mind feels busy, don't worry, just gently bring it back. Find that compassion for yourself. Allow yourself just to be as you are. Whenever you're ready, you can gently start to bring yourself back to your senses. Maybe noticing the physical body, the ground beneath you, the flow of breath as it moves in and out through the body. Just taking a moment here to acknowledge all that you've done over this month, to acknowledge the consistency that you've given yourself, and just to be proud of yourself in this very moment. And just remembering that your inner knowing, your intuition has been waiting for this moment, for you to come back to yourself, for you to truly trust and listen to yourself, and give yourself permission to show up in the world the way you want to show up. So if you take anything away from these meditations, just let it be the fact that you are enough as you are. Everything that you need to know is within you. The kindness, the compassion, the sadness, the anger, the joy, these are all just emotions, part of being human. It is okay to experience and to feel everything. In fact, we can reframe that. We are lucky to be able to have all of these human feelings. We are lucky to be here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for committing to this practice to yourself. Just take a moment to thank yourself now for being here. Whenever you feel ready, let's take a nice big deep breath in and a slow, soft breath out. And then you can gently open your eyes.